Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're gonna transform this into that. Or even... Alright, so there is a million ways to create kick drum, and I could just show you the effect chain I use for this kick drum and call it today, and everyone be like, oh, it's awesome. But the reality is that this chain probably is just gonna work for this kick, and then when you're gonna try to use it for another kick, it probably is not gonna work. So on the end, just sharing with you the effect chain will not be as useful as it sounds. I will still share it with you, but I will also share with you the process and the mindset of creating kick drum, how I like to do, and this will help you really like to use the effect chain in a very efficient way to create a lot of interesting kick and not something that will just work on one kick. So when I'm designing the kick, I will usually split the process in two. You have the first one, which is designing kind of the raw kick, where you're gonna change the pitch envelope, the decay, really like the raw pure kick with maybe adding some click. For example, I can show you, I have this SpongeBob VST here with kind of illustrate this very well. You have like you kind of a classic 909 kick, and then you can add a click, a top, and some extra sound even. This, for example, if you do industrial techno, you could add explosion or slamming door on top, and that's what's really gonna create raw kick drum, which sound like this. So, and then when you design your raw kick here, you can see you have also some effect here, and this is what I would call the processing. So you can process usually with any kind of overdrive or saturation or distortion. So you can see here you have distortion plugin, bit crushing. Usually it's great to use a filter like to lock it and add resonance. Some filters have drives as well. You can use some EQ as well, and then you can also use all kind of clipping and limiting like you have here. But personally, what I like to use for kick drum is to using multiband distortion. So we're gonna close SpongeBob, and I just have a limiter in case things goes crazy. My favorite VST for kick drum, it's Saturn, it's a multiband distortion, and I like to actually use presets, and I recommend to use the preset from the actually Saturn one, which are not in Saturn 2, and you have different kind of things, but then you can just try and see it depends where you kick as well. But I will find one that enhances the kick. And then what I will do is I will just duplicate it and maybe looking for another preset. And then again, I'm duplicating, looking for another preset. And I will do that until the point I have probably 6-7 instances of Saturn. The chain starts to be long, so we can group it and kind of actually put them like this. So you have your audio effect track now. And then what I like to do is maybe removing some of them until I like something. And then why not to add an EQ? I said like low cut, it's usually working well. And then I will save this rack and I will reuse it sometimes. So now what I like to do is basically take the rack and duplicate it. Okay, and now maybe we can do exactly the same, trying to see which one we can remove, add, and see how it alters the sound. It's just about experimenting, but I can quickly get a very punchy and hard-hitting kick drum. Now you can even go further and use other kick chain that you probably made in the past. So for example, I'm gonna use the one from Jan Cook, which is his Techno Kick chain, which is basically overdrive, amp, and drum bus. It's available on his channel. I will put it in the description. And so you can play it just right after. But you can also try between, which is sounding pretty nice, or before. And again, you can experiment. I like this. Now I'm gonna go even further and I'm gonna add another rack I've made before, which is just basically the Jan Cook kick rack with a bit of EQ, and let's see how it sounds. And I mean, you can go on like this for so long, but yeah, that's pretty good. Now, once you have that, what I love to do is thinking about, okay, I'm gonna keep the processing chain, but I'm gonna change the source. So then you can keep this processing, but then you can go in Punchbox and try to design a new kick. And this is very interesting because the thing is, basically, your VST is gonna react completely differently than without the effect chain. And which means that you're gonna probably turn some macro in a way that you wouldn't have before. Because for example, imagine without the FX chain, you tweaking and something sounds bad. Without the effect, you're gonna obviously change it until it sounds good. But what about if something that sounds bad without the effect, it's sounding awesome with the FX chain? So that's really gonna push you to try things that you wouldn't have if he was designing the raw kick. So then obviously it's just experimenting, trial and error, but yeah. Okay, I like this one. Maybe if you make some industrial techno, you can use my industrial techno kick rack, and for example, get you something. Now, another way I like to do is obviously to layer, so you can group it to a drum rack. Then you can layer with other sample, like other kick sample. You could layer with other sample that you could load into Punchbox, but I like, for example, to layer with some explosion. So you have this sample here, which sounds like this, which is like a cannon explosion. Any kind of explosion works well. And then maybe this, you can put it through the effect chain and see how it sounds. So what might can happen is, again, like I said, control the gain staging. So maybe that could be your rumble. You can obviously maybe make the envelope a little bit longer. So as usual, I will give you the rack with all of the Saturn preset for free. I will put it in the description. The Jan Cook rack, if you want to have it, I will put the link to his video as well. If you want this industrial techno kick, I will as well put the link in the description. Everything is free, so you can all grab it and use it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon. Bye bye.